So here's a stack of books. Here's a stack of third-party resources. Third-party resources. We're going to talk about those and what they have to do with compliance or what they don't have to do with compliance. Let me turn this. Okay. Hi. I have already had my bath and already gotten ready for bed. And I just have been thinking a lot about the compliance issue with a lot of the threads. There's Kidder. Hi, Kidder. You're the first one on. You're the only one on. Maybe it's just you and me. Okay, so what I want to talk about tonight is third-party resources and the compliance issue and how that relates to you and me, and especially in relation to our online presence. Okay, so Dr. Cole Woolley is freaking awesome. And if you get a chance, you should be on his page and you should be reading everything he puts out. Reading everything he puts out. You shouldn't be liking everything he puts out on social media, because if you do, you're going to get in trouble. And let's talk about why. First of all, what is a third-party resource? So at the beginning of the video, before anybody was on, I had the camera angled at a stack of my books. And those are all written by somebody other than Young Living. So that's what makes them a third party. So if Young Living had written it, then it would be first party. But since it's written by someone outside of Young Living, it is considered to be a third party resource. Third party resources are not required to be compliant. Okay, and the reason for that is because they aren't considered to be making money off of the purchase of the essential oils. So they make money off their resources, not off of the purchase of the oils through the MLM. Do you like my hat? It's very sparkly. And the reason I'm wearing this hat also has to do with third-party resources and checking with your healthcare provider. Okay, but that's another tangent. I'm going to try to hang on to that for a little bit longer. And if I sound very scattered today, it's because my brain is rattled with numbers, because I had to do taxes today. And that was not fun for me. And I spent all day doing it. And I made a resolution, and that is that I will not let it pile up anymore. Is anybody with me? Don't let it pile up anymore. Okay, so third-party resources. They are not bound by compliance, but as a distributor, you are. So when Dr. Cole Woolley makes a post that says that frankincense is being studied with its work in cancer, that's awesome. That's awesome to know. That's awesome to read. That is not awesome to click like on or click share on, because that is enough to lose your account over. You don't want to do that. Nobody wants to do that. Okay, he can serve us better from the outside than he can from the inside. And so you have to wonder if that's why some of these people are leaving the employment of Young Living, so that they can serve us better from the outside than they have from the inside. Okay, so I want to talk about some third-party resources and why you need to own them and what they're going to do for you. They're going to give you the information that Young Living won't give. Okay, because Young Living can't give information on what the oils are used for. We can only tell you how to use them, so you get the directions on the label. So you have a label like this. Any kind of label that is a color, that is not going to have any information to support any body systems. You cannot support any body systems with a label like that. I meant to have one of my Vitalities in here. If it has a Vitality label, then it can support a body system. But if it has a label like that one, or here's another one. Oh, look at this one. Rose. If it has a label like that, it's considered to be a cosmetic. Cosmetics make you feel good. They may improve the appearance of fine lines on your skin. They make you feel good. They smell good. But they don't support your body systems. Only the vitality oils do that. Okay. Can you see this book? Is it backwards? It looks like it's backwards. A statistical validation of raindrop technique. This is a study that was done by Dr. Stewart, and he sent surveys out to a variety of people who looked at and gave their experience with performing raindrop. Now, why is that important? That's important because Dr. Stewart used to be a member of the NAHA, the National Association of Holistic Aromatherapists. And he was a member in good standing. He is a registered aromatherapist, and he has a long list of credentials. If you look in the back of the Chemistry of Essential Oils Made Simple, you can see his list of credentials. But he wrote this book, The Statistical Validation of Raindrop, in response to the white papers, which talk about the dangers of raindrop technique, which they say if you get a raindrop, you'll wind up in the hospital. That's what they say. But that hasn't happened to anyone. And so that's why that's a valuable resource to have. Let me show you this one. The Essential Oils Desk Reference. Everybody should have an essential oils desk reference. That's going to give you the information on the oils. It's going to give you the information on where it comes from and how it's distilled, what part of the plant it's distilled from, what are its uses, things that Young Living can't give you. This is a third party resource. So you're going to get information out of there that you can't get from Young Living. So if you have a product information question, you should first of all go to the EODR. And if you don't find the information in there, which you should be able to find the information in there, but if you can't, then go to your sponsor. Do not call Young Living. Don't ask them, what can I use this for? They can't give you the answer. Okay, don't come onto the group and say, what can I use Melrose for? What's that good for? Don't come on and ask that. You can ask, how can I use it? That's a compliant question. How can I use Melrose? Well, you can rub it on your skin. You can put it behind your ears. You can apply it to your temples. You can put it in your bath. You can rub it on your chest. You can do whatever you want, because why? Check with your healthcare provider. Who's your healthcare provider? You are. You're your healthcare provider. You're the boss of you. You get to decide how you want to use your products. So you look in your resources and then you make a decision based on your information that you learn, right? That's right, you're the boss of you. So anything Dr. Stewart writes, you should read. Anything that Gary Young writes, you should read. Here's another one by Dr. Stewart, Healing Oils of the Bible. If you think it's only got Bible information, no, it doesn't. But here's some information that it has some information on the chemistry. It has a lot of information on uses. Okay, a lot of uses information is in this book. There is a particular person right now that has a really big following on the internet who says that our Bible oil classes are trumped up. Well, if you go in here and look in the chapter that tabulates the amount of times that essential oils are mentioned in the Bible, either directly or indirectly, that refutes what she says. Just saying, okay? Gary Young, buy it, own it, read it. Chemistry of Essential Oils Made Simple. Hardly simple. You can see how thick it is. This book, don't let this book scare you by the size of it, because there is so much information in here. Even if you have to go through the chemistry portion of it over and over and over until it makes sense to you, which it shouldn't, but I mean, it took me quite a few times. But if you just buy this book for the quantum physics part, that's enough to more than cover the price of the book. Awesome book. You really need it. So many uses you can find in this book. You want the book. You want the third-party resources. And this one actually is not third-party. It is by Mary Young, about D. Gary Young, which gives the whole history of our company. You need this book if you are a distributor, which most of you should be because you're in my group. So if you're a distributor, you need that book. You need to know the history of our company. You need to know all about the farms. You need to know what makes a difference in Young Living and other brands, the seed to seal process, and all about the farms. You need that book, okay? You need the third-party resources. But let's talk about the difference between what you see on the internet and what you like on the internet. You are free as an individual to read anything you want to read. Any resource you want to read, anything you want to buy, anything you want to read, you can read it. You just can't post it trying to earn money. That's going against the FDA requirements. You can only talk about how you use something, not why. Okay, so that's why I've been really, really strict with what I let come through on the group. So I was thinking about this too, and I know some of the other groups are not so strict, and I just wonder if maybe it would be more beneficial to let those questions come through and then reword it in a compliant way. So in other words, the only things that we can talk about coughing is the Thieves Cough Drops, right? Because it's an OTC approved product. The only thing you can talk about pain, oops, I didn't mean to. The only thing about pain, the only thing you can do to talk about pain is the Cool Azul pain cream. That's the only thing you can talk about, and the only product you can talk about in relation to pain. But you can look at the way that people ask a question and try to answer it in a compliant way. For instance, if someone says, what can I use for the flu? Well, you can't say, you can't like beat around the bush and say, whoa, everybody's coughing in the plane, give me my Thieves. That's not compliant. You can say, give me my Thieves cough drops, because that is, but you can't say, give me my Thieves. But you could say, Thieves Vitality helps maintain a healthy immune system. Or you could say, look at some of the supplements like Inner Defense. That is really good for your immune system. And look at what the oils are that are inside of it. Okay, and that gives you a clue. But there's a lot that can be said without saying a word. I think that is the most important thing. And so many of these posts that Cole Woolley has coming up, they're sponsored, and so all of us are seeing them, and it's awesome information, but please don't share it. Just read it or send someone to his page. Now, if you're following that, if you're reading The Game Plan by Sarah Harnish, then you may have listened to one of her videos on compliance. You may have heard her talk about the fact that when she went through the compliance jail thing, that she was told that not only could she not like anything and could she not link anything, but she could not link to anything that had anything non-compliant on it. So what's that mean? That means that you couldn't link anything that Cole Woolley has because there's something non-compliant on his site. You couldn't link anything that Dr. McCullough has because there's something non-compliant on his site. So I don't know if Young Living is still as strict as that. I asked that question in the Diamond Group, and several of the people said that yes, they had been told the same thing, and then several others of them had said no, they didn't get quite that far into it. So I don't know if there's a little bit of laxness now. There's well, I don't know if lax would be the right word. There's a lot to be said for the fact that the pendulum goes one way and then swings back and forth. And we swing. Let's conjugate that verb. Let's not. Okay, so when the whole compliance issue started, we were very, very lax in saying things that were not compliant when this whole thing came down. And so we kind of were way over into the non-compliant range. And then when the FDA dropped the hammer on us, we swung way over to the other side. And so maybe even way more than we needed to be. We know that it was way more because some of the things have been let go. Like we can at least now talk about diffusing things, whether they're a Vitality or topical or whatever. And we can talk about using oils in cleaning, which is something that we couldn't do when this whole thing started. So the pendulum is swinging back to, and hopefully it's going to settle in the middle, and they're going to release us from some of these things that seem a little silly, like that. Like we can't say that we clean with oils, yet the thieves' cleaner. You know, look at the way that the supplements are created and the different oils that are in the supplements. If you look at those, you're going to get an idea of what you could use, like if you didn't have the supplements. So try to read between the lines, but please be careful on social media. I see so many of you posting things that are trying to beat around the bush, but they're not. They're totally not beating around the bush at all, and they're not compliant. But I'm not the compliance police, so I'm like not going to tell you unless it happens to flow through my feed at just the right time. Okay. What was the other resource I wanted to tell you? Let me come back over here. Told you about that one. Okay. These are some good ones. Inner transformations using essential oils. This one is Dr. Leanne Deirdre. You definitely want that. Ultimate Balance. Good one. This one talks about vibrational energy and the chakras, okay? And then, of course, the Blue Book. Everybody needs the Blue Book. Now, you're a lot more free to talk about emotions as long as it's not depression or anxiety or any emotion that is also a diagnosis. So you're a lot more free to talk about emotions and how they affect you and how the oils work with emotions. So there you go. That's pretty much all I wanted to say, and hope you guys are having a great evening. And I'm going to cut off now. So if you have any questions, I can't see anything anyone said, so I'll go back through and see if there's anything that needs to be answered, and we'll check in with you then. Bye.